Alright, I'm gonna get started in just a sec here. Can you guys hear everything alright? Also, thanks for showing up. I think we're gonna have fun. If you have any questions while I'm working, feel free to just leave it in the chat or just whatever you want to say. And, alright, cool. So, I guess I'll just get started with what I'm doing. Alright, so I'm going to be animating this guy today. I'm going to be doing an animation where he will pick up this stick here. There's gonna, all these props will spawn in. He's gonna pick up this stick and he's gonna do like a little like math class or whatever. That's what's implied, and then he's gonna flip the chalkboard and it's gonna say go to sleep, because it's an animation. It's like an attack animation for making other enemies go to sleep. And I've got all the parts I need marked out here in the bottom, because it needs to be timed to a different animation. So I've already got that marked out. And today I'm going to be doing blocking, I guess, because it's a fairly complex animation, so I'll need to probably do stepped blocking. Alright. Yeah.
You got this.
Yeah. Also, Martin's here in the background.
Hello. So, is the board and stuff completely separate objects, or is it attached to the bug?
They're part of the same mesh because they're like that in the other animation.
Oh, so is this a brand new file, separate from your others? Or?
This is a new save, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And I got a unique route specifically for the props.
Cool.
Okay. Right. So the hardest part for me for animating is just coming up with the right poses, because that pretty much dictates everything. It's like you want to have good poses for the right kind of weight, the right kind of feeling, and this character flies around a lot, so it's a lot different than some of the other characters I've animated. I've actually done some animations for this. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show them, so I'm not going to. I got special permission just to do this animation on stream today. So, yeah. So what I need to do is the props will start off just 0 and they'll like grow in. They're gonna grow in individually too. They're gonna be like and then he needs to notice them and pick up this stick to use as a like teaching pointer thing.
Yeah,
whatever.
Pointer.
Back in the days before laser pointers were invented. He's gonna like tap on the board even though it's blank.
And then flip it over and it
Yeah.
says go to sleep.
Yeah.
Go to bed!
Like he's instructing his class to go to sleep. And then he's gonna recover from it. Because it's just what the other animation does, so I'm gonna do it here, where he just recovers at the end, and back into his reference position that I made here. I usually like to make my own when I'm doing game animations. I like to make my own reference positions that are different from like the T pose or the actual reference pose. that I use to blend from. So it's like this one uses his idle animation as the first frame, and the result should be that that when it blends from the idle animation to this animation, it'll be a lot smoother and a lot more natural looking instead of blending from T-pose. Okay.
This is so fucking cozy.
Yeah.
It really is. We got coffee, there's Ristar music playing, you're
Yeah.
animating.
I got coffee. I finished my coffee, actually.
You want some more?
Yeah.
Alright. We'll get that in a sec.
I'm like, I was like really tired earlier, but I got started with the stream, and now I'm all energetic and jumpy. Partially because of the coffee, but I'm also excited. Really happy to have you guys here watching. And let's see here. Let's get started planning, I guess. First, I'm gonna switch all my keys to. I'll use stepped animation first. And yeah. This is, for me, yeah, so like I said, for me this is always the hardest part of animating, is figuring out the base poses, because once I do that, the rest of it comes really easily, because it's just like I'm setting up my, markers to shoot for animating, and it's a more complex animation, so I have to use stepped. Simply because of the nature of it. Usually when I'm doing blocking, I like to do it splined, which is different than a lot of professionals I see. A lot of professionals like to just use stepped right from the get-go. But I find that when I'm using spline to use my blocking, I get a better sense of the timing and spacing right from the start, and I can just fine-tune it more easily. Because you go into the spline phase, and sometimes it's like, oh, that's a lot more floaty than I expected. I'm sure you can fine-tune that, but a stepped animation implies it's a lot more snappy than it will probably end up being. But this animation needs to be snappy anyway, so that'll be fine.
Oh.
So first, let's get these set up for. Let's get these props set up where they need to be in their base pose. I actually need to make them a little bit bigger. Just because they look... Let's see. Yeah, they look a little bit small compared to him right now. The other animation... let's see. Right about... That should be good. Right about there. The other animation, the character is a lot smaller than the props, so the character fits a lot better, but he feels a lot smaller. And here, he just felt kind of massive. So I asked if I could make the props just ever so slightly bigger, so he feels like it's like his stuff. I got, let's see, right about there, I think could be good. I think something I can say is that the game will be played most likely from like this kind of angle. Yeah. It's slightly isometric. So, probably be seeing the animations from like these kinds of angles. So that's something I have to keep in mind when I'm doing the posing. Where it's gonna, bless you, where it's going to be seen from. Okay. Now let's Let's shrink this out of existence. Because it needs to spawn in. Actually, let's give it the same relative position so it spawns out of this area. Selected. Uh-oh. Okay. There we go. Okay. The end pose, it'll shrink out from there. So I get an even 600. So that makes this animation about 10 seconds long. Let's see. Looks like I still got some curves in here. There we go.
Is there a way to constantly display the poly count and stuff in Blender, like how I can do in Maya?
I don't know about that in 2.8, but it's usually visible in previous ones. So if you go to, if I go back to object mode, then you have the triangle display up here.
Oh.
Faces and vertices.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh, it's still there?
Yep.
All right.
Yep, they just moved it down to the corner.
Cool.
Thank you, I'm stupid.
No, you're not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Alright. Let's see.
Now let's see. Yeah, I really like Blender. I keep wanting to find an excuse to switch to Maya because of well, that's part of the problem. I keep wanting to switch to Maya just because I, want to for the sake of compatibility with, just like industry standard animation stuff. But there's all this stuff that like Blender can do fairly easily compared to, not even compared to Maya. It's just like I can do it easily in Blender. And there are cases where Maya can't actually do it as easily. Like,
Maya is really good for animation. Maya's like character animation workflow is like second to none in my opinion.
Nah.
But almost all of my VFX like asset makery happens in Blender. Because in Blender, I can lay down a spline, extrude along the spline. There you go. You got a little curly that I can use. and that is 2 steps, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But in Maya, it's like, okay, you need to lay out the spline, now you need to make the strip, and now you kind of wrap the strip around the spline, and there's like 15 steps to do the most simple thing on Earth.
See, aren't vertex weights very painful to work with in Maya versus Blender?
Oh, yes!
Yeah, so that's like a big thing for me, is that like sometimes I have to do my own skinning in Blender. I mean, just in general. And it's like I can do it in Blender fairly easily. And just the workflow tools are great, and you know, when I look into doing it in other programs or just doing vertex painting in general, vertex weight painting, I always get recommendations for Blender specifically because it's like I always hear that it's like the best for skinning.
Yeah, in Maya, if you do vertex painting, let's say you got this model all skinned and you realize, something's wrong with the model, and that would require me to, say, unbind it, change some joint orientations or something. You can't do that as easily.
Yeah, so
So like if you like unbind a model, you pretty much lose your skin groups.
Oh
Unlike
dear.
how in Blender it's all just names and vertexes.
and the vertices actually get assigned to a specific group permanently.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's just it. It's not permanent. It can change at any point.
Well, I mean,
And
like,
you're free to do that.
well, I mean, permanently as in like you can manipulate a lot of stuff and it doesn't break.
Yeah, because it's like, if you need to change stuff in Blender, you can change, like, you can, like, unbind a model from its joints in Blender, freeze all of its transforms so it's, like, 0, 0 on everything, and then parent it back and it'll work just fine. In Maya, I gotta go through, like, a 2-hour setup to zero out a game model that I downloaded, you know?
Yep.
And that's why I've started messing with Blender.
Yeah. So every time I look into Maya stuff, I hear things like that. Let's see. You can duplicate the mesh in Maya. You
That's
can
what I do.
yeah, copy the weights to it from the original model.
That's what I've started doing,
Yeah.
but it's not that accurate.
Yeah, well, I mean, like vertex weight copying, you know, is never going to be as perfect as it's still intact.
Yeah, cause like a thing I try to do
Mm-hmm.
is like so like if I got like a model that I need to like, you know, like scale up and then zero out its transforms and it's already got like weighting and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just like, you know, I'll just like I'm gonna copy the weights and shit, but it'll usually mess up things that are like not immediately there. Like a character's mouth will often be like, you know, sewn shut afterwards,
Mhm.
and then I'll have to go in and manually, like, I'm gonna reweight their lips to be able to open again.
Yep.
And it's oh boy, ooh.
Yeah. Also, export weights as a series of images that exist. Weird.
Yeah, that's a thing. It's a thing, and
Is it exported as like a color map or?
Yep.
Is
The thing is exported as a bunch of color maps, I think, and it uses UV space. And you think this would be really useful, but if it was, like, you gotta export the images like really high res, and there can't be any overlapping UVs. You know?
Yeah.
Blender stores its vertex weights as its own thing, and I really appreciate that. Maya's skin groups seem to be just part of a bigger conglomerate that doesn't really, that's really not its own thing that you can just break off and edit on its own. Blender does a really nice job of just, okay, here's texture, UV, vertex weights. They are all different and there is no overlap, you know?
Yep. Yeah, it's like I don't really enjoy skinning, but it's for me, it's doable in Blender. Okay. So I am currently setting keyframes for these individual objects so they can they'll scale in and they'll just kind of plop down on the ground like the chalkboard does.
I can't wait to see that. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Once I get this all splined and figure out the proper spacing, I'm gonna give it some follow through. Maybe it'll like swivel on its wheels a bit, like roll back or something. That could be interesting. And, bless you.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna offset these so they don't all come down at once. Once I finish all that. Global. Able to copy the animation from the previous evolution. I didn't even. I guess I didn't even think of that. I was just thinking it was going to be like more distinct because the position would be slightly different.
Yeah, so like you're folks watching too. I mean, the people you're working for.
Yeah.
They're those ones. Let's see.
Let's see. It's an animation this simple. It's actually easier to redo it than it is to copy and make work with an existing animation. Because it's just up, down, and all I'd have to do is adjust the spacing, which takes just a few seconds.
Oh, you wanted more coffee, didn't you?
Yeah.
Let me get
You okay?
that. Yeah, I just had to get up.
Okay, let's see here. So he starts in this ref pose. And at this point, he needs to grab the teaching stick. So at that point, he'll already be over there grabbing the stick. So let's figure out that pose. What that pose is going to be. Something like little notes on the timeline. You mean the like this stuff down here? Like the grab, tap, and like, hang on. Thank you. And those are markers. I use them a lot when I'm trying to figure out the timing of an animation. It needs to be very specific. These are specific beats the other animation uses, and and I'm timing it to those beats so that it syncs up pretty closely. I want it to feel like a different animation because it's a different it's a different character sort of, but I still want to hit these beats. It's really useful to make a marker. You just hit M, and you can rename it with Control M, and it's pretty useful. I use it a lot in both my professional animations and personal animations. It's really handy. Let's see here. Yeah, it's very useful. Let's see. I want to have him stretch out a bit so he's not super close to the board. And I'm going to use his proboscis to grab it.
So you're still using the tongue to grab?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't, because he needs to fly.
Yeah.
It's like a little arm thing anyway. Alright. And once I have the once I have him grabbing it, I'm going to apply a constraint to the stick, so that it's always parented to his to like this part of his proboscis. I call it tie because it's stylized to look like a tie, and the bones are called tie, but it's
It's a tongue.
yeah, it's like a tongue thingy, but it's not quite a tongue either. It's
a mlep.
It's a mlep.
It's a mlem.
Okay. So he's reaching out to grab it. So I want to have him probably stretching. Oops. Business proboscis, yes. Now. So I want to have him reach out so it's like he can grab it. So I want to turn it a bit. Have it like... Yeah, that'll work, I think. Nah, he should actually have a grip on it before, like, at this point. Because it's a key pose.
Oh, that's far away.
So, because it's a key pose, he should actually have a proper grip. Well, if he holds it this way, it's going to favor to his right. Which means that he'll be... he'd have to be on, like, this side, and he's usually on this side where it'd be more balanced because all the books are on this side. So, okay. I'm gonna
wrap it the other way?
Yeah. I'm gonna wrap it the other way so it favors his left. Bendy. I really like animating this thing.
This creature.
Yes.
This weird thing I found. I like animating it.
This one up. See, when I'm doing this kind of stuff, it's always at this point that I think I should make a spline rig, but it's like at this point I've already animated most of this guy's animations. This is kind of the last one I need.
Yeah.
So it'd be like I'd spend more time making the rig like that I'd want versus just doing like this manual kind of thing, so it's not really worth it. It's all about trying to save time. Okay, looks kind of weird, but I'll be able to straighten it out. I haven't found I haven't found a spline control for you know, the tongue, the proboscis specifically, no. But that's okay because a lot of the animations I needed to do worked better in just FK anyway. Just kind of by the nature of how it works, I guess.
Ugh.
Let's spin that a little bit so this will be less stretched. It'll only be like this really shortly, but since it's a key pose, it's really important that it looks decent so that I can blend properly. Okay, now I can, you know, let's strengthen the pose a little bit, actually. Push him back a bit. Lean down. Head up. Maybe down more, actually. I'll just line him back up. Hi, Dan.
Dan.
Yeah, Nuclear Dan.
Oh, he's here.
Yeah. I feel like I'm back where it started. What's going on in here? I am animating for work. I got special permission to stream it. And I am currently listening to Ristar music. Oh, what in the world? Okay, that's strange. Easy to fix, but it's strange. It's because I have all those on. Alright. That should fix it. Yep, I fixed it. Just had to overwrite the keyframes. Okay. Key pose, key pose. Yeah. I think that's fine. So now the stick will favor when he's back up. The stick will favor his left, so that he'll be able to tap to his left on the board. Okay, let's set up the chalkboard stick to have the constraint. Child of yeah, child of constraint, and will be right. Tie 5. Yeah. Set inverse. Now, when I move his tie, it just does that. This way I don't have to manually animate his the stick moving around. All I have to do is, so I can just like straighten out the tie and bend it any way I want, and the stick will still follow perfectly. But I also have to make sure I set the influence so that like this doesn't happen. See, he just holds it out here like this. So to prevent that, I set the influence here, and I'll probably just remove it one frame early, just one frame ahead, and keep it on. This is at 60 FPS, so any like weirdness will be completely. I mean, I usually animate at 60 FPS for game animation, so this should be completely unnoticeable. This little jump for when he's not grabbing it to when he does grab it. Of course, when I finish splining this, by the time he's at this frame, he'll pretty much already be at this pose. Okay. Now let's find his next keyframe I should do. Now I have some keys here I need to hit, so like his tapping, but I want to hit a key before that, beforehand, so it's like he's getting ready to tap, or he's just like sitting there with the stick, like, all right, class, I'm gonna get started teaching now. So let's reset his thorax. Or no, I don't want to reset it. I'll copy it from the first frame. There we go. Set his spine, so it's like I'll clear that one too. Yeah. Reset his head. His neck, I'll just actually pose. Alright. Game animation is really interesting. I mean, it depends on the game and how it works, but a lot of them, you have to keep animation blending in mind between different animations. So that, like, you do one animation, you don't want it to kind of awkwardly change from one to the other. I first started experimenting with game animation with I think it was Source Engine stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. I don't want him to just kind of be like this. I want him to be like, hello, class. I want him to be like he's like, hello, kind of happy to see you, or something. Like a friendly teacher. He's a little mascot of some children's math program.
It's a really good way of describing how he looks.
What is up, fellow students? Yes. I am just your friendly teacher, here to teach you about the fascinating world of maths. We're going to teach you about mathematics. Well, I'm not sure why I'm posing it for that angle. It won't really be. Let's see. Mathematics, yes. Oh, this character's adorable. Nah, I try to save overlapping animation for after I've started splining. He seems a little stiff. Let's see. Maybe. Now he's got a curved line of action, the C curve. It's like slightly sassy. He's just got this like C curve here. It's like, hey. I feel like it's a little bit less friendly though.
Oh.
Let's see. Sit down. No. Yeah.
I bet a lot of the comments on this particular track mention rubber fruit from back in the day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was this used a lot in this stuff?
It was used in one of his really popular videos.
Ah.
Yeah, I bet that like a whole bunch of them, the comments are just like, damn, oh man. Oh, what is this?
Okay. So I want to give him kind of like this. It's like friendly, nerdy teacher vibe is what I want to give him. Just like, hello, students, and like it'd be like in high school, he'd be like one of your favorite teachers just because of how like cool but kind of nerdy he is.
Yeah, you'd probably make a good teacher for that exact reason.
It'd be like the teacher where it's like you go in after school and he lets you use the lab for whatever you want, the computer lab.
Uh-huh.
It's like, yeah, you can go ahead. I had a teacher in high school who installed DOS simulators in our lab.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's how I first played the Incredible Machine.
Oh my god.
So you'd be like, don't tell anyone kind of thing.
Oh, that's amazing. Fucking like, if you ever taught a class, like I bet that like you would be one of those teachers.
I'd be the nerdy but cool teacher.
Yeah. I mean, just look at you,
Today we are gonna learn how to do trigonometry with anime. Maybe. Hello, students. Have you heard of the animes? Let's see.
See, we can calculate the sine and cosine of this anime girl's boob bouncing.
Now, I'm not sure how I feel about this pose, but I'm gonna go forward, see how it looks with the next keyframe, and I'll probably adjust from there. So he's gotta lean back. He's gotta somehow orient himself where he can still fly. So I'm probably gonna have him like. I'm probably gonna turn him like 90 degrees so that his wings are kind of out here. But his head's gonna be still facing forward, so he's like making eye contact with the class. And then he's gonna be tapping the chalkboard, and I'm gonna have the chalkboard like react to it too. Let's see. Because this isn't, thankfully this isn't a looping animation. So I don't have to worry about things drifting a little bit. It's what? bend his spine a little bit. Neck. Here. Head. Here. Let's see, then as the board gets in the way of that wing. I bring him back here a little bit. Yeah, so I'm gonna have him yeah, I'll have him tap on specific points on the board in like this, I guess this triangle like thing, so it's like he's pointing to specific things. And then he'll flip the board and they'll say, go to sleep. And he'll point at the class like, you better do what you're told or Santa's gonna give you coal.
You having an okay time?
Uh-huh.
Alright. Just making sure.
So, let's see here. So I gotta do this, this pose is interesting because I gotta be careful about his wings getting in the way. He's gonna be viewed mostly from this angle anyway. Ooh, I know. I'll have him lean back for 2 of these, and then for the 3rd one, I'll have him like lean forward. Like, now pay attention to this one. Like, this is important, but this one's really important. And then that's when he flips the board. So I have him like tap, tap, and then tap. So let's see. Yeah, I think I like that. Tap, tap, tap. And the board will swivel around, and then he'll point at the class. And hits the board again. Throws the stick down. Ends. Okay. Tap. Tap. Let's bend his spine a little bit. Bend him a little bit forward, I think. Because I want to emphasize the leaning forward part more. So I'll have like a pseudo anticipate. So. There we go. Tap, tap. And I'll probably put the in-between frames, I'll favor them closer to the taps, so that they have more hang time so it's more of a snappier animation. So tap, tap, no. He needs to stretch out more for this one. Because right now he just kind of rotates. So what I'll do is I'll stretch out and I'll move his tie. Doo doo doo. Love wrist arm music.
Me too.
and then I'll actually move the chalk stick, not the chalk stick, just the
talk stick.
The talk stick. I'll move it in his hand so it's like he stretches it out, and I'll actually accommodate that with this.
Oh, cool.
So I moves it too low, but that's fine. It's easily fixed. Make sure I'm on the right keyframe first. Yeah, there we go. Now he stretches out a bit, so it's like he's leaning into it, like it's just a little bit out of reach where he's trying to point.
Oh, cool. The posing's really nice so far.
Thank you. And then when he gets to the, let's see. And then when he gets to this one, he'll tap lower. Probably still be stretched out a little bit, but not as much. So I'm going to actually copy from the first one. Move that down. What's up?
These
Oh my god.
final evolutions.
Alright, and I don't want it to look like he's just kind of. Let's see. Yeah, I need to bring this one closer. So copy that. Bring it back around. Don't want to stretch this tie around too much. There we go. He makes more of like a triangle shape. Let's see. Tap, tap, tap. This will study this, and especially this. Yeah. It's always weird doing like keyframes, and it's like it always feels really basic at this stage. But you want it to, because if you don't do it really basic and you do it really complex right from the start, you can't have like fun doing the actual movement. You want it to be like you want to give yourself some space to actually do the actual animation part, which is like usually like the in-betweens, is where it really comes alive. It's like whenever I do a walk cycle and I'm just doing like the first two poses, the left and right contact poses, it always feels a lot more basic than what it ends up being.
Want to see a thing I did?
Yeah.
Check out this tail thing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm trying to keep the SNES sequencing colors deal.
Oh, that's for the thing.
Yeah, for the hyper beam. And I'm trying everything I can to stick to its sequences colors.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Something very important to do in 3D animation is to turn off the bones and see how the actual pose is going, because the bones are just kind of a tool for the actual shape of the mesh. The shape of the mesh is what's really important. You want to get the right silhouette and movement looking. So you can have a really decent skeletal animation, but if it like makes the mesh look really weird, then you know, the final result will look weird. Yeah. Let's actually have him lean his head up when he leans out too. We'll have him lean down more. And bless you. His neck. Lean up. Do, 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 do. Should go with something specific to focus on, I think. Well, teachers tend to look around in the class, but here he's kind of like looking up. So let's.
I love his little swirly glasses.
Me too. There we go. Now he's like actually looking at something. Let's see. Oh, that was the whole Ristar soundtrack. Alright, I guess I'm gonna do Sonic after the sequel.
Oh, cool. So you are doing that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Video game music.
Okay. Let's see. I want it to be a little bit less stretched on this final tap. Well, let's see, actually. Yeah. So he's leaning forward, but I'm going to actually push him back a little bit. Yeah. And this will be good, a good anticipate for when he actually like moves the chalkboard and it swivels. So it'll be like tap tap, and he'll hit it. Let's let's set up the base pose for that. Go to sleep.
Go to bed.
Right. And since he's gonna hit it with some force, let's actually push the chalkboard back a little bit, maybe rotate it. Rotate it maybe a little bit more. Yeah, okay.
What's up?
I'm just thinking.
You do that.
So like at this point, he'll have actually... No, this will be the keyframe when he actually hits it, so... I shouldn't actually do that yet. It shouldn't actually be like rotated or moved yet. It'll be at this frame when it's already moved and rotated. Yeah. And when he does this part, when it's already on go to sleep, he's going to be actually pointing at the class. So I'm gonna have him like in front here. But before we get to that, let's do the swivel. He's gonna just hit it with his whole body, I think. That's what he does in the other animation. He comes up too much. Let's see. What should he do? So he picks up the stick, taps it out. Now he's got to get to. Now he's got to like move the board in such a way that it flips this. And it's like, in the other animation, it's implied to be a pretty heavy board. Let's see. I'll come back to that. I'll just have him in his go to sleep pose. Is the chat still working? The last message I got was "it's." Can someone like say something to confirm or? Oh, there we go.
Oh, there it is.
Yep. All right, cool. Yeah, just wanted to make sure. Sleep. So it'll say go to sleep, and I still want that to be red, so I'm going to move him over a bit. He obscures it a bit from this angle, but it's just his wings, and his wings are going to be flapping, so that shouldn't cause too much of an issue. Let's reset his proboscis. So he's going to be pointing at the class. Stretched out a bit. Mostly from the front now, with new dynamic camera and battle. Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's good to know. Thank you.
cool.
So I can actually author it from the front. So, okay. That's helpful. So now I can just probably just move him forward a bit and like and when I do the final animation, I'll probably have him buzz around a little bit, kind of like a moth. It'll just kind of be like maybe like do something, but that comes after the base poses. Base poses are where I find all my landmarks. I usually get crazy after that. So let's see.
Yeah, I like how there's a riff from Seaside Hill in this.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so have him actually pointed forward. You know, when I was first learning animation, I used to worry about like prop characters interacting with props like this and how well they would sync up, like when you just move it around this arbitrarily. But it turns out they sync up really easily as long as you just kind of imply that the character is moving it themselves. So, you know, like here when I have them rotated up, I'll probably have like this part move or something. And it's usually kind of all you need to make it seem like, okay, they're the ones moving it and it's not just floating around in their hand.
You mean
Like if a character is
to
interacting...
like avoid it looking like they're just vaguely holding something?
Yeah, it's
and,
like
you just
it's like
add a little bit of movement.
just a little bit of movement, and you have to time it with the same amount of movement you do to the object. But you know, just a little bit, and it's got to be like the same general rotation that the
Yeah.
object is moving. But it's it just looks like the character is interacting with it, even though it's just this floating object. I see that a lot in like very professional animations too, and so I was like, huh. It's like you don't really need to do a whole lot to get that implication across. Let's see. Especially when the character doesn't actually have fingers. It's a lot easier to get the to imply that it's just a. Well, I don't know if it's easier actually, but. Okay, so he's gonna like. When he gets out the stick to point, he's gonna point like he's pointing to specific people in the class, like you and you too. Go to sleep, you.
Yeah, I mean it's just like the troublemakers.
Yeah,
in the
he
class.
pointing specifically to. I know what you're doing. You go to sleep too.
The stinky
Yeah.
ones.
All right, so let's push this pose more, so he's more stretched out. I think. Yeah.
This music is
Let's angle
so
it.
good.
Up a little bit because no one can actually point like this, or people usually tend to point slightly up or slightly down. Everyone falls asleep save for one. I didn't know there was going to be a test. The test is falling asleep. So I think when I have him point, I'm gonna have him like, since he's just this flying, bobbing moth, I'm gonna have him kind of bob the opposite direction he's pointing. He'll be like, since he's pointing slightly to his left, yeah, pointing slightly to his left. When I do the final animation, I'll probably have him bob this way. And then when he points to his right, I'll have him bob the other way. So it's like a nice counter. I have these two bases set up. Now I gotta think of an interesting way to go between these, because it's a key pose, but it's but it's gonna determine a lot. It's gonna determine a lot of physicality with a lot of what's happening in the scene. It's gonna imply like how much he weighs. It's gonna imply how much the board weighs. It's gonna imply you know, what direction he's going. So it's a really important key pose. Yeah, so.
Isn't this music also in the SRB2 part?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so like along with the last one.
Uh-huh. Okay. So go to sleep. Install. So this is probably going to be one of the more important poses, because it's going to determine a lot of the actual animation. So it's a more difficult pose to figure out. I've already got him set up to anticipate a little bit. Whack. Whack. Let me just put something in there so I have a little marker for when it happens. Just a little, like, jump or something. So, for me, I find like one of the big issues with doing stepped animation for your blocking is you have very little sense of spacing and timing, because it's like, yeah, you know where everything's going to end up and where it started, but you know the important stuff, like how it gets there and how long it takes to get there, is like muted. Thankfully, this animation is going to be more snappy anyway, so the final result should look, I guess, similar, but so he's gonna hold this pose for a long time before he finally whack, and then, you know, turns around back to the class. Let's see. I'm gonna stand up, try to figure it out. Let's see. Tap, tap, tap. Wham. Yeah, I should like comply like a fake elbow or something. Like he just whacked it with his like non-existent hand or, you know, shoulder. So when I do the final animation, I'll have an anticipate where he like leans this way, probably, and then wham. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Fake shoulder bash. So move his neck down. Bam. No. Needs more force. Needs a lot more force. And of course, a good way to imply force is I'm going to have the actual chalkboard move a lot. I might have like it. I might have the whole board come up and like asymmetrically too. Like it'll come up like more on this side. So it'll be.
That'll be good. It like pops out of the ground.
Yeah. So it'll be like wham, like, you know, he just whacked it with his whole body, like a shoulder bash. Wham. No. This song sounds vaguely like Splatoon.
It does. I keep hearing like, you know.
Uh-huh. Let's see, I'll have him hold his thing this way, I think. Let's see, when did he... Have him... Yeah. Spin, and then wham. I might have to put the anticipate as like a key pose. Because I can't feel this. And I'll see what it looks like with the anticipate. So let's see. Anticipate. Anticipate. Right now I'm tapping out where I think I want the anticipate. Yeah, I think right about here is where I want it. And then I'll give a lot of extra force to it. You'll like twist this way, come forward a bit, probably. Yeah, and then I'll have the board react to him. Also, I have him leaning up a little bit too much. It needs to be more of like a... And I'll fix the clipping later. His head still needs to be in control. Whack, 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 whack. Okay, so I'll have him actually come down a little bit too. Not just spin. I'll rotate, come down. So that's more like it. It doesn't. Now you might look at this and think, "What are you talking about? It doesn't look like there's much impact yet." But that's because the chalkboard doesn't move yet. So. Let's do that. Let's make the anticipate. Let's just keyframe that right now. And yeah. I'll have it pop up a little bit. Get pushed up. Back. Click on its wheel. And let's make the final keyframe for that closer so we can actually see the timing better. Right there, I think. Yeah, let's move it back. Have it move back a little bit on its wheels. And I'll start spinning this. Yeah, actually. So I'll put the anticipate right there again. An actual swivel. Get that started. Now I can push it more now that I know. Yeah. Like that, right?
Wait, I see.
Like he's knocking it.
Oh yeah, that's really good. I see it now.
Yeah, so
Cool.
I think what I'll do as well while I'm at this is I'll actually have it kind of spin away a little bit, so it's like back. So that'll settle.
That's cool. It actually bumps it back when he flips it.
Yeah. Because I also want to imply that he's a bit heavier.
Yeah.
Like he's put a lot of force into that. Ooh, that's looking cool.
Thank you.
Now, I'm definitely going to have to fix up this timing and spacing once I actually spline it. It's a little slow, but I shouldn't even be doing this. I should be doing just regular keyframes right now. But I needed to get a feel of the impact pose, and yeah. I'll come back and do those breakdowns. And when he actually taps the chalkboard, I'll have it like rotate a little bit. Whew. Yeah, so when I spline this, it's going to be pretty slow. But that's alright. I'll speed it up when I actually get to it. That's looking good, I think, so far.
Ooh.
I'm glad I have people watching for the least exciting part. Gets a lot more interesting when I'm actually doing the spline stuff, because then I actually get to play with the curves and actually do animation. Not that this isn't animation; it's just a part of it.
It's just the slow, boring part, right?
Yeah, it's funny is that like in 2D animation, this is the fun freeform part, and then you get then when you're doing the in-betweens in 2D animation, that's the slow, boring part. Okay, save that. I'm open another Blender instance so I can not have it on the stream, because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show any of the other stuff, so I'm just going to be safe and not, because I need to reference something real quick. Yeah, okay, so he, yeah. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna hit the chalkboard again to reset it, and then he's gonna throw down the stick.
Throws it down. I love how he does that.
Just whack.
Fuck you,
I might do it differently for this one though. I might give him some like finesse.
Yeah?
Instead of him just kind of throwing it down like whack, I'll have him like maybe twirl it or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Could have him twirl it and then just kind of like gracefully let it land where it needs to.
Because he's like, because he's just like older and wiser now.
Older, wiser, and more has more showmanship. Let's see. In fact, I'll probably have him do a thing where it's like when he hits it again, maybe I could have him spin. I'm not sure. Let's see. Wham. Points to the class. And he needs to hit the thing again. I'm gonna put another key pose here for his alternate point too. Yeah. Have him bob a little bit more this way. it goes between these two poses, I'm gonna have probably a wing flap, and he's gonna come like down. So it'll be like, I mean, it's not gonna be that far down, but. Let's see. You, you, and you. You. No, he needs to hold that pose longer, actually, so... The second pose needs to have more time. Let's move those, So it'll be like, first pose will be 1/3 of the time, second pose will be 2/3 of the time. You. Maybe less, let's see. Cracking my knuckles.
No.
You. Ooh. I just got an idea. What if I had him, like, fly up a little bit and, like, I don't know, like, do a backflip. He comes up, comes around, and then, like, he hits it on the way down, and that's what resets the board.
Ooh, that could be a good way to end it.
And like I do that as like part of his like performance thing where he's also already spinning the chalkboard utensil, and then he'll just kind of like throw it up into the air and it'll land where it needs to.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I like that. I think I'll try that. There we go. That'll be a lot more interesting. So, because it's a rotation and I'm using quaternion rotation, I'll need to actually key out those poses. So let's see. Let's see. Maybe he doesn't actually need to. I don't need to rigidly stick to this particular beat where he hits it again. Let's see. Hold that there, and then he'll come up. Let's see. Let's calculate. 600. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So I just did a thing where I can actually see the curves. Since they're stepped right now, they're just straight lines. But this is really useful later. Rotate. And so at this point, we'll hit it. And I'll have him. Yeah. Got a bit of a stretch there, but I can fix that. Now these curves doesn't really I'm not really paying attention to curves all that much right now because there are none. But I want to save myself hassle later when I'm actually doing the curves. So have him come around and actually hit it. So let's see, for this keyframe I'll move him all the way over here. This one I'll move him back here. So he does this kind of like diagonal loop. You'll actually run into it, flipping it. And I could have it like spin several times, like it's like the like Sonic signpost, like the Sonic signpost kind of thing. Just go on. I'll have him twirl his baton and just kind of throw it over his head and then drop. Here I am making this animation more complex. It's like I have an idea of what'll make it better, and of course it makes it more complex, but usually it's worth it. Let's hide this. That's coming along, I think. Spin. I'll move him back a bit for that. Also make sure that when this is spinning, it's not going to just hit him. Just barely out of reach. Shouldn't be too noticeable from the front-facing angle, but just to make me feel more sane, I'm just going to move him forward a little bit more. Just misses. That'll be fine. Bless you.
Thank you. What the hell?
What?
This track is called fucking like Espresso with Bayonetta.
Yes.
No wonder it sounds so familiar.
Man, have I eaten anything? Yeah, I had pizza, alright.
Yes. Should probably get something for dinner.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry.
Me too. Just fucking,
I've been streaming for about 2 hours.
yeah. Get like fucking, I don't know, burgers or something?
Alright,
Does that sound good to you?
I think so. Okay.
I got my dentist tomorrow.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do. It's on Thursday at 2 p.m.
Alright.
I'm definitely gonna get up on time.
So let's make him more upright here. Since he's gonna be kind of twirling his baton. Neck. Look. Alright. So he's not pointing it anymore, he's going to be twirling it. Now, since he doesn't have a real hand, that's going to be interesting to set up the pose for that. Let's see here. Twirling. Yeah, and I'll have to move it down to the middle of the stick. Well, not necessarily the middle, because it looks like the center of mass would be right about here. Because it's bigger on this side than it is on this side. So, just move it down like that, I think. Let's see. How to twirl with no hand. It's not that I don't know how to make him twirl. It's specifically I'm looking for like a pose that would look natural with him twirling it. I want him to be twirling it so it's like spinning in front of him. And then he's going to throw it up into the air, and it's going to land right where it needs to. Hmm. I think that'll work. This. Yeah, and then I could just move his arm a little bit. Okay. His arm down. His neck, because he actually throws with his head. Therefore his body. Curl his tail up and actually bring him down just a little bit. It's almost like a bow too. It's like he's bowing after he twirls it, and then the spine up, up. Ugh. Just sneezed.
Baby sneeze. Damn, it's already dark out.
Yeah.
They flew by.
Yeah.
Streaming does that, I guess.
I was able to focus.
Yeah, you got a lot done. Or you're still getting a lot done.
Yep. So let's see. I'm gonna have him throw up in the air. Let's put his anticipate down more. And since he throws it, he's gonna throw it, it's gonna land right about there. Let's actually have him just slightly just up diagonal. Okay, progress is being done. Alright, so it's at this point I need to have him let go of this. Actually, I probably shouldn't have it twirl through the air. I'll just have it kind of like spin like twice or something. he'll like twirl it, and then wait, no, he'll twirl it, and then he'll catch it, kind of thing, just before he throws it, because he wants to get a good grip on it right before he throws it. Okay, so I turned off the influence so his hand will no longer track it, but as you can see, it goes right back to around where it's supposed to be, but I'm going to mask that by having just a quick one frame transition, so it should be completely unnoticeable. Selection, let's see, so I'll make a cursor to selected. Selection to cursor. And I just want to make sure I got the orientation right. Completely 360, okay. So how does it land? The starting position is X and Z facing this way. Doesn't matter too much, but I want to prevent, like, when it rotates, prevent it from just being all over the place. Up in the air and then land back down. And because it takes longer to come down here, I'll have the arc favor this side, I think. Let's calculate that real quick. Actually, I'm going to spline this part so I can have the right in between. Just real quick. Inflation. They would come up higher, I think. Just mix these Bezier curves instead. Oh, I need to update the. There we go. Now I can properly see the curve. It's weird that it doesn't start really rotating until. So let's. That's kind of janky. But it also has a really soft landing, so. I update the curves. Yeah. Key interpolation mode, easing mode, ease in, update, no difference. Comes to a sudden stop. Not sure. I don't like that. Linear. Okay, let's see. Oh, I know why. I think. X, Y, Z. Turn off scale. Yeah, it's because of the rotation keys, I think. Yeah, that was it. Well, now I understand where the curve is going. Still really floaty, but that's alright. I'll fix that later. I'm gonna lock these. Turn location back on. Move it over a bit, I think. Let's see what happens if I make it higher. The curve is kind of aggressive. Let me actually recalculate this and have it. Oop. I calculate by the head instead. Oh. I mean, that would be part of it. It's kind of like linear thing going on here. I should actually only have the z-axis be the one that actually moves. Oop. Or right, local. The actual axis changes. I should have had like a parent bone for this. Yeah. Hmm. Just thinking about how this looks.
You're not sure about it?
Yeah. Could use a second opinion.
Like me?
Yeah, or someone in chat. Who knows?
Let's see. You having him toss it back into position?
Yep. I don't have it. I'm gonna have it bounce after it lands, but I don't have that yet.
I think it could work. I'm not sure about how it moves right now.
Yeah.
It seems weird that it just moves from the one end of it. You know?
Yeah. I might have to make like a parent bone that it rotates around or something.
Maybe.
Even like just a temporary one that I use.
Yeah. Because like I think that like you can make it look good, but
Yeah.
right now it just looks a little bit awkward.
Yeah, it does.
It might just be the fact that I can see the spline too.
Let me try just.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
needs
it's-
some work. It kind of like linearly moves to the ground.
Yeah. Doesn't have enough weight.
Yeah. What if you brought it a little bit lower?
Lower.
Yeah, lower. Just make him like toss it kind of over his shoulder, you know? Instead of like way up in the air.
Let's try that.
So it's like, you know, instead of like a big throw, it's like, nyeh. And that's it. Okay,
Part of the problem is that it rotates.
Yeah. Yeah. The stuff all shrinks away at the end, doesn't it?
Yep.
So it doesn't matter if it's in the same position it started in.
Right.
Yeah. You could literally have it land anywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. That's right. Anywhere and in a different rotation. There we go. That'll solve that.
I think I might post a whip picture of the Hyper Beam.
Cool.
Might post a whip GIF, actually.
I might have to settle on him actually just throwing it back really fast.
Yeah?
Yeah, instead of just like, this is a little bit too complex and it would take a lot longer.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
That's
have to.
understandable.
Yeah. Okay. You can still twirl it too. But as anticipate will be to the left. much. Let's see. Okay. I might have to come at this with some fresh eyes later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Alright.
You'd been doing really good today.
Yeah.
I just posted a little gif of the hyper beam so far.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Fucking one of them grinds characters.
Oh.
Fucking Sprite. And I die.
Okay. Let's see how this looks for now. Let's refocus.
Bug teaches you how to count.
Yep, and then sleep.
And then what?
And then sleep.
Oh, it's pretty good.
I think it looks alright for the amount of work I put in.
Yeah, for the blocking, I think it's pretty good. Fucking, I think like I think that just all like as you keep going, it's really gonna get really good.
Yeah.
Also, you know what I can't wait for?
What?
The billboard, the chalkboard and books popping up and like, you know, the rattling physics.
Oh, like when they all drop?
Yeah, you know, whenever they pop up and it's like,
Yeah.
because like that's in the original.
Mm-hmm. Well, if anyone's left, I'm glad you watched. It was fun. Helped me stay on task. Got almost 3 hours of work in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did some work before I started streaming. Getting everything all in and set up. Thanks. I'm glad you like it. Right now I have like really tired eyes where it's just kind of like everything looks kind of the same to me. It's like it's like that point where you've worked on something for so long, it's like, is this even anything? But that's what breaks are for this kind of thing. So let's see. Let me just keep that looping actually. It's like, and I find it's like really good to take breaks. Otherwise, like, you know, I've done this. I've also done this thing where it's like I start micromanaging things that don't need to be micromanaged yet, and I come back later and I'm like, ugh, why did I do all that? And I delete all my micromanaging.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So let's see. I think I might get some food. Do something else. Let's see if I'll see if this is still fresh in my mind today, but I might be done for today for animating, because yeah, So it's like a keyed and storyboarded it all at once today. Okay. Yeah. I'll pause my work timer. Save that. Whew. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you everyone who showed up. Yeah. I will see you guys later. Maybe even stream something else tonight. Who knows? But I'll see how I feel. But yeah, I was able to stay focused. That was great. Bye bye.